Hello everyone. You guys able to hear me? You guys able to hear me? You guys can give reaction. You can see in the top there is a reaction button. Okay. Fine. So welcome back. This is John from Inceptez, and I'm operating from Inceptez office. And this is a kind of an cybersecurity and DevSecOps related workshop initiative we have planned. And so the main reason and the motive for this kind of a workshop is that we want to bring some kind of an awareness to people about how DevOps has evolved, how we can implement security related practices, and how we can see it all these in the lens of AI, how AI is having an impact in this area. So all these things we are planning to discuss in this 2.5 hours of time. What I want is that you guys please be interactive. You guys can't unmute and speak because it's generally muted. But what you guys can do is you can go to the reaction and you can give this thumbs up kind of reactions or smileys kind of thing so that I can understand that you got the matter. Okay. So this 2.5 hours will help you to get some kind of an awareness. This is not a kind of a complete technology learning. This is a kind of an awareness program. So you will get a lot of idea on what we are talking about. But kindly don't try to understand everything or the hands-on which I'm trying to show, because the hands-on which we are trying to show, maybe it's all just a bit advanced or something, but try not to get too much into it, but try to understand the concepts. Okay. So that is what we're going to have. So let me first start with the introduction. Am I audible, Shweta? Am I audible? Hello, Shweta. Audible? Okay.
John, yes, John, audible.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to share my screen. So I will first share my screen and show what is the agenda for today, and then we'll move on to topic by topic. Okay. So the prepared, I believe all of you guys are able to see my screen, right? I am showing my Obsidian's visualization. Is that visible? My Obsidian screen. You see something like workforce development program, students development, something like that able to see. Can you guys give reaction like this, this reaction kind of? The மாதிரி reaction கொடுங்க. Okay, fine. So, fine. So so what we are going to see today, the list of keynotes which I planned for this workshop is this is the almost regularly we run workshop every year at least once or twice, and this is 2026 February workshop. So last time we had a generative AI with the generative AI from zero workshop, which was on August 2025, and like that we have a long history of workshops conducting. And so first is I just want to give the basic introduction about what is Inceptez and how we associate with Inceptez, the Sloopstaz story and all that. So let me give a quick introduction and we get into the session show. So basically, Sloopstaz is an kind of an research-driven firm. We are a small team of people. We do research-driven products. We build products, toolkits, and we build solutions based on toolkits. So, and also we offer technology training programs. So these are all the four pillars on which Sloopstaz operates. And basically, if you look into this, our focus is mostly on the infrastructure security, and we focus more on secure software development. And we also focus on auditing, compliance related things. So this is how our products are generally built, and our emphasis is basically like that. And if you see here, our product, and we also build lots of toolkits, container toolkits. We build virtual machine toolkits. We build configuration management toolkits. We build cloud toolkits. Lots of toolkits we develop, which is all mostly for automation point of view. We build toolkits, and we also have those toolkits open sourced, and that is the background of our toolkits development. And we also have this solutions we generally offer for organizations. It's a B2B solution, so business to business solutions. We like infrastructure solutions, cloud governance, and so many AI-based solutions and all that. So helping organizations to cut the cost. And then we also provide training-related programs with Inceptez. So that is where we two organizations were linked. So both mostly Sloopsters and Inceptez, so far we have trained almost 950 to 1,000 plus candidates in live training, which is 8 to 9 months training program, not 1 month or 2 months. So that's the track record. In the last 6 years, we have trained more than 1,000 plus candidates, and altogether Inceptez alone has done almost 12,000 plus members we have so far trained as alone in Inceptez alone. Okay, so data engineering, data science, DevOps, multi-cloud infrastructure. So all those areas we have trained. So 12,000 plus is the count. And this count is only with respect to the related relation between Sloopsters and Inceptez. And this is how we have been partnered. So mostly Inceptez is our training partner, and we are trying to build Inceptez as a AI-based research labs. So that is where we are working on. So you can see our site is also under development, and I will just show our Inceptez lab site, which is under development. We are developing that too. You can find here. So our background is we wanted to build artificial intelligence agents. We wanted to we develop tools. We develop lots of gamification related tools. And we also develop the resume parsers and so many other things. We offer these things in the website for free. Okay, and anyone can. We have our indigenous private cloud researchers. So the lots of things that goes around in Inceptez. So earlier we started as an training academy, and then we have now moved on to product development. We build solutions, and we build lots of tools around these related things: infrastructure, data engineering, data science, and all that. Okay, so this is where we both teams works together, and that's how we collaborate. So this is the brief explanation about how Sloopsters and Inceptez generally partners and how we work together. Okay, so this is the basic introduction about both the companies. I can give the links of Sloopsters and Inceptez in the WhatsApp. Sorry, I mean the chat. You guys can go, and whenever you have time, you can explore more. Okay, so Inceptez Labs. So this is the introduction. Okay, so now let me get into the actual topic. So today our agenda or the keynotes is like I'm going to start with some basic things which will be very easy for you. So here is the list of topics which I'm going to present today. Okay, so I'll be doing a couple of whiteboardings, and then I will be straight away going to do some hands-on implementation so that you guys will be able to see at least something how DevOps engineering correlates with cybersecurity, how artificial intelligence clings onto it. So all those combination, you will be able to get some idea at the end of the session. Okay, so first we'll discuss about this topic, which is what generally I tell people. Whatever training program which we conduct, we generally tell people that there are 3 important engineering domains in the IT industry. Okay, we have to know about this three important engineering domains, and that is what first I'm going to share. Okay, it's called IT engineering domains, and I just open this picture. Okay, so please listen carefully. You guys can hold your questions. At the end of the day, we have a podcast, so you can ask questions whatever you want. But kindly give some attention so that you can take something away out of this particular session. Okay. So basically, the first thing that everyone, whether you are from IT engineering background or whether you are not from IT engineering background also, you have to know that there are three major divisions that generally is available. I'm not saying these are all the only divisions, but what I'm saying is there are three major divisions of this that is available. And the first division is what we call as the data engineering division, or we can call it as a data engineering, data-driven engineering domain. I'm not saying data engineering, I'm saying data engineering, data-oriented domains. And then you have domains like the full stack engineering domains, and then we have domains like the infrastructure engineering domain. So these three engineering domains are the most occupied, are the most popular, are the 90% of engineering domains in the contemporary IT world. Okay, so basically each and every engineering domains you can see here, it has a lots of things like, for example, infrastructure means you have cloud engineering, DevOps platform, SRE, SecOps. And then if you see full stack engineering means backend, front end developer, API, UI, UX, microservice. And data engineering means big data, data analytics, data science, machine learning, ML. So you see, there are lots of varieties of roles that are available across these three great engineering domains. Now, when you see this picture, the first question which I generally want to ask people is that which domain currently you are working on? Can you guys look into this picture and select the domain and type that in the chat? Maybe that will be a bit interactive. So can you guys type it in the chat? I'll show the picture. You guys can see the picture, and you see these three divisions. And in these three divisions, which division right now you are working on? You just say full stack means full stack division, infrastructure means infrastructure, data engineering means data engineering. So you just tell what division you are right now working on, so that it will be a bit interactive. Okay. So this is what is first very much important, guys, because when you are dealing with the IT world, we have to know currently where we are right now sitting on, so that we can move from one domain to other domain or move from one role to another role. So that is why I just show every time I ask, I take sessions in the first opening sessions, I tell people that if you are in this place, you can go and jump here. From here, you can jump here. From here, you can jump here. So basically, you can move from domain to domain, or you can move from roles to roles within the specific domain very easily. So this is the very important idea, that whether you are you are in IT engineering related things, or else if you are just not in the non-IT, you wanted to know something about IT also, you have to know this proper division. Okay, so I believe all of you now able to understand these divisions properly. Is that correct? Am I right? You guys can give some reaction here. So like the reaction here, right? So you can click thumbs up means we will get some, I can get some reactions in front of my screen. Okay, so this is the first thing. This is the first thing we have to understand. Now, the second thing is we have to move on to the second topic. So what is the, I mean, this is related to today's topic. Okay. So what topic we have provided in the WhatsApp group is, if you look into that, we told that this is going to be a DevOps plus cybersecurity and an artificial intelligence combined workshop. Okay, so that is what we told. So if we want to first get into the cyber security related space, there is a first important thing that we have to definitely know. So what is that means? It is generally called as common vulnerabilities and exposures. That is generally called as CVEs. Okay, CVE. So let me first get into what is the CVE, and I will show a few things about the CVE, and you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. That's the basic thing. Okay. So you guys also can try Googling and find that understanding, but you just watch my screen. I just go on to it. So what is this CVE? CVE. Okay. So basically, this CVE is a kind of a database. Okay, it's a kind of a database which tries to consolidate lots of security vulnerabilities and exposes that to the wide internet audience. This is not a kind of a private organization. This is something which is backed by US Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. Both are government-based organizations. Okay, so what is this CVE means? Because when you are going to enter into the IT world in the angle of cyberspace, I'm talking about cybersecurity specifically, not talking about DevOps, not talking about AI. I'm just talking about cybersecurity. The first basic things that we have to understand is we have to know that what is the CVE, that is Common Vulnerability and Exposure Database, where you can find the potential vulnerabilities in most of the software packages and libraries that we are using throughout the open source. Famous things like Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, Terraform. So these are all the software toolings and programs that we use in day-to-day work. Whether you are in the DevOps arena or if you are a data scientist, you may be using Keras, NumPy, Pandas, or something like that. Or if you are a data engineering person using Tableau or Microsoft Power BI. So lots of tools and technologies that we use in this contemporary IT working engineering work. So in that, each and every tools that you have, each and every software packages that you install on the system, each and every programs that you have, each and every libraries that you install, whether it's a container image or a virtual machine image, whatever it is, whatever you try to install in the system may have a potential security vulnerability which can be exploited. That is the first thing that we have to understand. Okay, so this is cybersecurity is something which is not just related to a DevOps concept. It is not just related to just infrastructure alone. It is not just related to data engineering alone. It is not just related to full stack engineering alone. It is a kind of a very broader thing where you can see cybersecurity is a very broader and a very commonized word. The word cyber means it's called, it refers to the internet or basically a network of systems. And security means network system security. So that is what cyber security words definition is all about. And when it comes to cyber security in the IT engineering arena, it is a very commonistic thing, whether it is DevOps infrastructure or whether you are data engineering, big data, data analytics, or whether you are going for data science or AI, machine learning, whatever it is, cyber security is a very common thing because each and everything that you're going to tools, software packages, libraries, and programs, everything is going to have some tools. That means there could be some security vulnerability. So that is what first we have to understand. Okay. Now what I'm going to show is I'm going to just search here. This particular workshop focuses on DevSecOps, basically DevOps plus cybersecurity combination. So I'm going to talk about one basic, famous tool that DevOps engineering people use, that is Kubernetes, okay, which is a container infrastructure and orchestration automation platform. So I'm going to just search the CVE database saying Kubernetes API. And I'm going to just put a search here. And so you can see some results have come. Okay, so you can see here, I'm just scrolling down. And you can see lots of CVEs that has been exposed, that has been provided here. Now, if you look into this place, anyone can do this search. Okay, this is an open database. CVE.org is an open database where you can go. Suppose if you are using a tool like, for example, if you are a full stack engineer, and you are using a Node.js, if you are a Node.js programmer, Node.js backend developer, and you are trying to use a framework called Express.js, for example, and you wanted to know whether it is really secure and if there is any kind of potential security vulnerability available in this Node.js Express framework, you can go and try searching here. And this is the place where you will understand what is that potential vulnerability. Now, if you see here, I'm just going to click and open this one, and you will be able to see that this is a CVE which is dated on 2025, and some numbering is there. And what it is trying to say is, it is saying that there is a vulnerability exists in Kubernetes client. Okay, which is a program, which is a Kubernetes client, is a kubectl program, which is a very famous command that very people mostly execute. Almost DevOps engineers, particularly DevOps platform engineers, they generally execute Kubernetes related commands almost every day. Every day they run this Docker tools, the Kubernetes and all. It's all very important things. And you can see that there is a potential vulnerability that exists in the Kubernetes client, which is the kubectl. And the kubectl interaction with the Kubernetes API server is having some kind of an issue. We can sit and understand what is the issue very detailedly, and we can simulate that exploit. And we also can see how we can fix, what is the fix that we need to do, what is the upgrade that we need to do. Okay, so basically any software in the internet, in the open source, any tools that you use, whether it is enterprise grade tools, even certain enterprise grade tools, whatever it is, you have to know that there will be some security vulnerabilities in every single software that we use and tool that we use, the library that we use, irrespective of the fact whether it is DevOps or whether it is data engineering or data science or machine learning or whatever it is. Every single toolings and softwares will have some vulnerabilities which can be exploited. So this is the first thing that we have to understand in the arena of cybersecurity. That is why I told that cybersecurity is something which is a very commonistic thing, and it is not something which is restricted to a specific engineering domain like a full stack or a DevOps or a data engineering. Okay. So this is the first thing we have to understand in the area of cybersecurity. Okay, so how many of you got this point? This particular thing, what I told, right? So CVE, cybersecurity, there is security vulnerabilities. It is a common thing. It's a very common thing. So you can't say that it exists only in DevOps tools. It can't say they exist in data science tools, or you can't say it exists in only Node.js. Ruby on Rails framework. So it's a common thing. It exists everywhere. Security vulnerabilities are everywhere. It can be exploited. Every software in the world, every single program or every single library can be exploited at some point in time. Okay. So how many of you got this point? How many of you now understood what is CV? Can you guys give reaction? For the reaction, it will be very interactive. Okay. So just try to give some reaction. So you also get the idea about the space of cybersecurity. Okay, that is the first thing that we have to understand. So now I will give the time for everyone to ask questions. Once I show the hands-on executions and all that, then we can go and you can. I will be there even till 8:30 also if you want to ask questions. Okay, so now the next thing is we have to know. What is the impact of cybersecurity in DevOps particularly? Okay, because what I told is this workshop is not just cybersecurity. This workshop is about cybersecurity plus DevOps plus AI. Okay, so it's a kind of a combination is what we are trying to do. So how cybersecurity has impact across this DevOps IT infrastructure and how that affects the software supply chains is what I'm going to show in a visualization. Okay, this is a kind of a visualization which we are going to see first. Okay, now you guys have some idea about what is at least a CVE, and now we are going to see how that is going to impact, how the CVEs are going to impact the IT infrastructure and supply chains. Okay, so let me open up that picture also. Where is that picture means? DevOps cybersecurity impact. One, two, three. Okay. So you see here this this picture. This is something related to DevOps engineering, particularly. Okay, when it comes to DevSecOps, people ask a question like, "What is DevSecOps?" Generally, DevSecOps is something which is an second version of DevOps. Okay, so in the internet, people do lots of definitions and all that, but in my opinion, after doing DevOps automation sessions for the last sessions, it's a training program for the last 6.5 years we have been doing. And we have driven almost 8 to 9 months of training sessions per batch, okay, DevOps, multi-cloud engineering and all. But with that experience, what I am trying to say is this DevOps engineering is basically a version one. You can treat it like that. It is fully an automation oriented role. When it comes to DevOps, the most important thing is it's all going to go for automation. Automation. At the end of the day, it is going to be only automation. So that is what is the final output. But when it comes to DevSecOps, in this DevOps automation, how we are going to bring the security part. So that is what we are going to see in the DevSecOps related thing. So this could be the best definition which I can generally give about this DevSecOps related thing. So that is why we generally say DevSecOps is not just something which is born out of new. It is the second evolution of DevOps, which combines the cybersecurity plus DevOps automation and find potential vulnerabilities and how we can remove those vulnerabilities across the entire IT supply chain. Because DevOps focuses more on the entire IT software supply chain, which is CI/CD pipelining, automations, and running through the entire things, right? So that is what it generally focuses on. So basically, you have developers writing the code, and they try to do the development in the development environment. So basically, when it comes to development environment, the development environment also has lots of CVEs. Okay, so basically the security vulnerabilities that generally exist in software development infrastructure. Let's say, for example, you are a let's say you are a React JS developer, or you are a data engineering. You are a kind of an SQL developer, or you are an ETL developer in data engineering. So you use lots of Python libraries, you use lots of full stack related libraries, backend libraries, Ruby on Rails, Node.js, Express, React.js. So many libraries and toolings you use to develop your software, right? So when it comes to developing each and every software, that product stack or whatever it is, everything you have to understand there will be security vulnerabilities. So that affects your development environment. But most of the time, the development environment which we are talking about is basically your local machine or your laptop. So it is not exposed to the internet, and hence that is not mostly vulnerable. Okay, so that is the very important thing we have to know. So this is regarding the development environment. Once the code is consolidated, you have done the development of your software, you may be pushing it to a CI/CD tool chain, and that is where DevOps related practices comes in. We have, let's say, a CI/CD pipeline workflow like Jenkins, engine like Jenkins, executing and integrating with lots of tools like Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, or Terraform. Or I'm particularly talking in the context of DevOps. Okay, so when you see lots of tool chains that are involved, particularly when it comes to CI/CD pipelining and all that, in all these tools, whether it is Kubernetes, sometime back I showed that in the Kubernetes client program, there is a potential issues available there. And we saw that there are CVEs available in this total CI/CD tool chain itself. And you can see that we have to build a lot of environments like QA testing environment, staging environment, production environment. There also you can have lots of CVEs exposed inside that. So at the end of the day, when you see this entire supply chain, this is a very simplistic picture. It can be a bit complicated also. This entire supply chain, every place, whether it is a development environment, whether you go for a testing environment or staging environment or production environment, or the tool chains that you are using to supply or deliver your software, say CI/CD pipelines, whatever it is, you see that the CVEs are generally the commonistic things across the environments, across the tools that you use, across whatever you have been using. The CVEs are generally a common thing. So this is how the DevOps IT infrastructure, the supply chain infrastructure, has been affected by general vulnerabilities or security vulnerabilities. So you cannot say that when you use a tool like a Terraform, you can't say that whatever you are doing with the Kubernetes, Terraform, or Jenkins, or whatever latest tools that you've been trying, or GitHub, or anything that you've been using, you can't say that there is no vulnerabilities. These are all highly DevOps, SRE, platform engineering oriented toolings. And these toolings also, the tool chain also has security related things, vulnerabilities, as well as your infrastructures, the environments, the production, the staging, the development environment. All these have potential security vulnerabilities. Okay, this is how DevOps IT infrastructure is generally affected by lots of cybersecurity vulnerabilities inside that. Okay, so how many of you understood this picture? You can't completely understand the concept, but what I'm saying is, how many of you are able to understand this full picture? Is this understandable? So you now able to correlate the understanding between DevOps and how CVEs are a part of our DevOps tool chain or IT DevOps supply chain, how this is all integrated. So you guys able to understand means just give some reaction. Reaction. Okay, only when you give reaction, I mean, you don't need to understand the architecture picture, but you have to know every single place is getting affected. Any reaction, guys? Or reaction? So, guys, please be interactive. Then only session will be a bit interesting. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just talking before a screen. Okay, fine. So the next thing is, what we are going to do is, we are going to see how this is happening. I told that CVEs are a part of DevOps IT infrastructure supply chain. So how the CVEs are a part of DevOps IT infrastructure supply chains. Okay, so we have to see it in the angle of hands-on. I'm not going to do more of a whiteboarding. So I'm going to take one by one hands-on. Okay, so now please listen carefully. Before I do something, please listen carefully. I will show a small picture. Okay, I will show a small picture that you will be able to understand, and then you can ask. I mean, you have questions, means you can note. I will do the hands-on. So when it comes to container infrastructure, basically Docker is one of the important tools in building the container platform images, which hope you all know that Docker plus Kubernetes is a very important software tools, infrastructure toolings that helps you to build the container image artifacts. Okay, so when it comes to Docker, the primary part of Docker is building the OCI image. Okay, OCI image. So generally, when you look into this OCI image, I'm just showing some internal structure of an OCI image, or what we call as a container image. So each and every OCI image, or what we call as a Docker image, basically we say Docker image or OCI image or container image, everything is similar. Okay, so what I am trying to say is this OCI image, which contains, whether if you are going to deploy, if you are going to install a generative AI language model inside an OCI image and run a GenAI container, what will happen is you will install all the tools and dependencies that is required inside this image. Okay, tools, programs, softwares, and all that. So any toolings that you use, that you bake inside the OCI image, can have some kind of a potential security exploit. Okay, we do not know about that. So what we are going to do is, we are going to see a generative AI. This is a Redis image. I'm not talking about this one. I'm going to specifically take a generative AI-based container image, which we built separately for our own purposes. And that image, what we are going to go and see how we can explore and find the CVEs or the common exploits or the vulnerabilities in that image. Okay, so that is what is the first hands-on we are going to see. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to build a specific container image in front of your eyes. I have already built it because the session timing is very little, so I can't do the full execution. I did build few things, but I'm going to just show how we can build a generative AI container image with the Docker. And we are going to see how we can introspect CVEs in the GenAI-based OCI container images. That is what I'm going to do two things. Okay. Is that you guys able to understand? I'm going to build a container image, okay, which is a generative AI-based container image with Docker. And we are going to introspect the CVEs inside that image. And that is one of the important thing to for DevOps engineering point of view. This is a very important, crucial things for DevSecOps engineering point of view. Okay, so that is what first we are going to do. Okay, now let me go into that. Let me open my virtual machine. So this is my, you guys can see, this is my virtual machine. Okay, this is a Sloopstash Ubuntu 24.04 server, which is running in my host in my laptop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go and run a Docker image build command, which will build a generative AI language model framework called Ollama. Okay, Ollama is widely used by GenAI developers. So that is what I'm going to now run. Okay, so let me go to the, let me first walk through the image build command. Okay. So I just show that you guys cannot get everything, but you can understand what we are trying to do. Conceptually, you can get something out of it. Okay. So this is the, you can see in my screen, this is the that generative AI language model running framework, which is called as Ollama. You can search in the internet to know more about this one. And we have built this. This is built from scratch by our engineering team. And we built this specific generative AI language model executing container image for multi-platforms. Basically, we built for AMD processors, that is Intel chips, and we also built it for ARM chips as well. Okay, so Mac, Apple, Silicon also can they can also build this language model runner and run containers out of it. Okay, this is slightly a DevOps oriented concept, but I believe this, I'm just talking in generically in terms of cybersecurity and combining the DevOps related things. So you have to always keep in mind that I'm going to talk in terms of cybersecurity, DevOps, and AI. So I'm going to combine these three things, how all these three things combine and how these three things works together. Okay, so three contexts I'm going to talk. So this is the language model executor Docker image, a Docker file. And if I execute this Docker file, it will result in the Docker image creation. Okay, so I have already built this because in the class time, if I built it, it takes a lot of time. So I'm going to just run that Docker image command and a Docker image build command, and it will result in a Docker image creation. Okay, so that is the image. We are going to go and scan and find the potential CVEs inside that. Okay, so now the image is the code is the Docker file is available in this path. You can see here there is a path called image Ollama, and in that path you have a Docker file available here, and this is what I'm going to execute now with this command. Okay, so let me run that command. You will be, it's a standard Docker command, and I'm going to just execute it. I'm copying this one and going to execute that one. And you see here already I have built that image, so you can see the output as just like that came from the cats related layers. But so because that process is a time-taking process, so I have already built the Ollama's generative AI image. And you can see here once the image is built, you can find this thing in the Docker image ls command. So you can find this is the Docker image, resultant Docker image we have built, which is not a very small one because it's a kind of a big tool. So you can see here that is available here. Okay, so this is the image. We are going to push it to the Docker Hub, and we are going to see enable some kind of a scanning on this container image and find the CVEs integrated with this image. Okay, you can find for all the other images like Redis or Python or Chroma database or Nginx or whatever image container image you have built. You can push it to Docker Hub and run some scannings, and then you can find the potential security vulnerabilities. Okay, so now I'm going to focus only on the generative AI image. So if you want to push this image, I already pushed this to the Docker Hub because the pushing also takes a lot of time. So I'm just going to say Docker image push, and sloop stash Olama, and the version is v0.9.6. I'll just start a push, but I will not conclude it. So you can see here, it says already existing and it's starting to push. So this is how you can see the image is getting pushed. I'm not going to push this. It takes a lot of time. So I just Control-C quit it. Okay, so this is the image. Once you push this image, it will be available inside the Docker Hub. Okay, so you can see the Sloopstash Docker Hub is available in this place. You can find here in this place, you the Sloopstash Docker Hub. So this is our Docker account. Okay, so in the Docker Hub, and in the Docker Hub, if you search the image name called Olama, you will be able to find the image. Okay, we pushed it some 6-7 months back, and this is the image. We generally build the images. We develop lots of open source toolings and toolkits and all that. So that is what we generally see here. Okay, the open source tools, the container images, and for not just for generative AI, for so many workloads we are pushing this. Okay, and in this you can see here we have pushed the version called 0.9.6. That is what we have built and pushed, and that is what you can see here. Okay, this is the container image which is being pushed into the Docker Hub, which can be downloaded and executed by Kubernetes and Docker tools and any other container execution infrastructure toolings. Okay, and you can find here right now there is no scan executed on this image. So you can see here, this is just an image that has been pushed and available in the Docker Hub. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable a scan on this image. So let me open this one. Let me open this image, and I'll go to the settings. Okay, I'll go to the image. Sorry, I have. And in the Olama image, this is the generative AI language model running framework. And I'm going to go to the settings, and I'm going to enable the image security scanning feature. So generally, we have a tool in Docker called Docker Scout. Okay, Docker Scout is basically a Docker's tool which comes with it's basically a Docker's paid tool which introspects the container images which you push to the Docker Hub and runs the scan inside the container images, and then it tries to find all the CVEs and gives you the list of CVEs, common vulnerabilities, which you can fix. I mean, in the world, there is nothing like zero vulnerability. There will be vulnerabilities in the images that we build, but this tool helps you to find, we can fix as much as possible. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the Docker Scout scanning, and I'm going to just click save on this. Okay, so as of now, this is a free account which we are using. So we can apply Docker Scout image analysis and scanning only on one container image, not all the images which we have. So what I've done is I've enabled it. Now I'm going to go to the image, and I'm going to click the tag name. Okay, so tag name. You can now see. Let me refresh. You can now see that this image is now being scanned. Okay, the image is now being scanned, and this is this generative AI language model running framework image, which sometimes we bake the language model also inside. So whatever it is that is now that is now scanned by the Docker Scout. And Docker Scout was able to see some almost 338 vulnerabilities that is available inside that. You can see here, we have the Docker Scout able to show 338 vulnerabilities. There are totally 408 packages which which has been installed inside the container image. And now you can see each and every vulnerability you can see the criticality. Okay, so out of this, there are 2 vulnerabilities in the in our Sloop test Olama image, which is critical. And out of that, 86 are high severity, and out of that, 226 are medium severity. So you can see critical is what we generally focus, and high severity we can slowly fix that by updating certain things and all. So everything is now showing the list of CVEs you can see here. Each and every CVEs which you see here, we can sit a security DevSecOps team's main job is they have to find and understand what is the critical vulnerabilities, and they have to read that explanations, and they have to fix it. Okay, so that is what is the main job of a DevOps plus a DevSecOps engineer. Okay, that is how you can see how the cybersecurity related things generally comes into DevOps engineering field. That is the IT supply chain. That's what I just showed some time back here in a plain picture. Okay, in the picture, what I told is how your IT software supply chain is generally affected, how your IT supply chain is generally affected by lots of CVEs across development environment, production, staging, tool chains, everywhere it is affected. And that is what you can see here also. Okay, so this is the place where you can clearly find it with the proof that how this scan has happened and how this scan has provided what is the affected version, what is the remedy to fix it, how you can learn from that. It is all coming from the CVEs database. Okay, so how many of you able to correlate now with what we discussed earlier? I know some people have understanding about DevOps related things, but I'm just saying in the context, this is how DevSecOps related things kicks into DevOps IT tool chain. You guys able to get the understanding, right? So the CVE is what I first told. Now I reverse what I have told. First, what we discussed about the CVEs database and each and every toolings that you use, whether it is a data engineering, data science, machine learning, AI, or IT infrastructure, DevOps, or you go full stack, Node.js, Ruby, Python, Flask, anything. Every single tool or software library that you use may have security vulnerabilities, and that is generally found across the internet by many hackers or developers or people, and security engineers works towards that, and they establish or publish that in this place called CVE.org. It's a database. And now then we have seen how this CVEs are a part of DevOps IT supply chain. Okay, the entire CI/CD pipeline, the IT supply chain, how that is coming inside. So that is what we have now seen, and as a pictorial representation. And what I have now shown in the UI is I have shown how we build an, particularly generative AI is a bit of an must to have subject these days for any role, whether it is data engineering or full stack developers or DevOps engineers must know how to tackle generative AI in their IT infrastructure. So that is why I'm talking about it. And you can see here, I showed how the CVEs are now a part of a container image, which you are going to run in the Kubernetes in the next slide. So you guys can able to get a clear correlation how cybersecurity, how AI, and how DevOps, particularly DevOps and cybersecurity, are now getting integrated, and how AI-related things is also getting impacted inside this. So this is how you can understand the need and the awareness about, or the rise of the version 2 of DevOps, which is called as DevSecOps. This is how DevSecOps started to evolve. In the year 2027 or 2028, you may find like how DevOps became a peak role in most of the IT engineering organizations in service sector particularly, you can see the DevSecOps also will come to its most peak in 2028 mostly, or in the upcoming times in another couple of years. So that is what we are actually focusing on more. So we offer training programs and sessions and basic. So we did DevOps engineering for the last 6.5 years, and slightly we are moving slowly towards the DevSecOps engineering. Basically, it is a security, cybersecurity plus DevOps related things. Okay. So how many of you got understanding now? Clear understanding about the DevOps, how DevOps cybersecurity gets integrated here. Everyone understood? Can you guys give some reaction? Questions I will answer once I complete the execution. Okay. But concepts wise, you guys should be able to understand. So this is an awareness workshop. So you guys have to focus on concept, should not focus more on technical. Okay. So that's the first thing. Shweta, can you allow the person in the lobby? Okay.
Yes, John. Yes, John.
Fine. So now the next thing what we have planned in this workshop is we are going to see how we can, we are going to do two things. One is we're going to see how we can deploy a generative AI RAG kind of application software stack in Kubernetes. And we are going to see how we can simulate a cyber attack, okay, against the Kubernetes endpoint. Now, the first thing what we have seen is Docker. So Docker vulnerabilities in the container image. Now we are going to see how we can run these container images inside the Kubernetes, and we are going to see how we can simulate a flood attack or a cyber attack against this kind of an Kubernetes microservice endpoint. Okay, so that is what is the next thing. For these kind of things, we have to know the Docker, Kubernetes, and these kinds of, but then only these topics makes more relevant to you. But what I am trying to say is don't try to go technical. Just try to, it takes a lot of engineering effort to understand this one, but do try to understand the concepts and get awareness about this subject. That's what you can take away from here. And you can ask questions after the end of session. Okay. Now let me go to the next part. So I just shut down this machine and I start a Kubernetes cluster in my host. Okay, so I'm just shutting down. Just shutting down my okay. Fine. So now I have a Kubernetes cluster, okay, so which is also virtual machines, a multi-node cluster deployed in my built in my host laptop itself. So I have my Kubernetes master one, which is ready. The control plane is up and running. I'm going to start my worker, a couple of worker nodes, and I'm going to deploy a generative AI-based RAG application. RAG is a concept. Okay, RAG is a concept in generative AI. But I'm not going to talk more about the RAG concept and all. I'm going to talk about how to deploy in Kubernetes and how to impact how we can generate a cyber attack against that particular Kubernetes network endpoint is what I'm going to simulate. Okay. So let me first start both the worker nodes. I just start the worker nodes, Kubernetes. Let me go to the documentation. I come here. So these documentations are open source. So you can go to the Sloopstats website if you want to try these things. You guys can go and try. The documentations are openly available. These are all open source toolings only developed by us. So you can use these things for your organization also. Okay. So I go and start Kubernetes worker nodes. One. And, Kubernetes worker nodes. Already a master node is running, control plane. Now I'm starting the worker node. Okay, one by one we need to start. And by executing the cyber attack, I mean, simulating a small kind of a scale cyber attack, you will be able to see how Kubernetes network endpoint goes down. Okay, so that also we are going to see. And these are all the real world threats we are dealing. Okay, cyber security in the sense, as I told in the beginning, it is a very broad thing. Okay, so we are applying cyber security in the angle of DevOps engineering and IT infrastructure engineering arena. Okay, and along with some AI related context. Okay, so we have to understand what we are doing. So the node is getting started. What is getting started? And the first machine is up. I'm going to SSH. And going to start the second machine, that is worker 2. Worker 2. So master is running, worker 1 and worker 2 is what I'm starting. So let the worker 1 is being started. Worker 2 is getting started. So this is a 3-node Kubernetes cluster built in my host laptop machine itself. Okay. It's starting. We have to wait for that. So once the worker machines are joined, you can see the worker nodes goes to ready state. Okay, Kubernetes worker 1, ready state. And then once the worker node 2 starts, worker nodes 2 also comes to the ready state. We have to wait for that. So I believe this will be a very useful workshop for you. This will be an eye-opener for you in the area of cyber security and how that is impacting the DevOps engineering roles, particularly the DevSecOps, and how you can correlate it with the AI-based thing. So that's what you will finally take away. So note your questions in the paper or somewhere. Once the hands-on is over, I will be completed by next 20-25 minutes. And you guys can ask your questions. There will be a past podcast kind of thing that we have planned. So those questions will be useful to you. You guys also can raise your hand and ask the questions. Okay. So now let me focus on this one. Okay, so you can see here my 3-node Kubernetes cluster is up and running. I have a master, I have a worker node, couple of worker nodes. Master is the control plane, and a couple of worker nodes are ready. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute this generative AI language model executor. Okay, so Olama is what I'm going to execute. Along with Olama, I'm going to execute it as a full stack application. Okay, full stack. This is a software stack is what I'm going to run. And that involves lots of, because when you are implementing a generative AI RAG-based implementation, you need to have Python applications, you need to have databases, vector databases, so many things are a part of it. So it's not just the language model runner alone. So I'm going to just execute that full stack. Okay, so let me show how we can execute a full stack in Kubernetes. All these things are open source. You guys can go to Sloopstack's website, and you guys also can try it after my session is over. Okay, whatever I'm just showing, everything is openly available, open source toolings only we are developing. Okay, I'm just going to go here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the environment variables. So this is a standard Kubernetes execution. So I'm going to deploy a full stack inside the Kubernetes cluster, okay, which is a generative AI-based RAG application stack. Okay, and I'm setting the environment variables, and then certain setups were premeditatedly. I've done that because the class time this execution takes a lot of time. We can't complete it. So that is why I just did few things. So I'm going to just power up my workloads. First, I'm going to power up my Redis workload, and then I'm going to power up my vector database, which is an essential factor for RAG applications. And then I'm going to start going to check what is happening. Let me check. So this is Kubernetes. Now you can see the vector database called Chroma is running in the Sloopstash Kubernetes worker node 1. And you can see the Redis database server that is running, which is a part of our full stack application. And I'm going to execute the language model runner, which is the OLAMA. Okay, you can see here. This is the way how you can execute the container images. Okay, for example, you can see the scanned container images available in Docker, right? This will be pulled when you execute the Kubernetes stateful set YAML template. It will pull this image and deploy it here as containers. Okay, it will run like this. So I just show here. So you can see here the OLAMA container is now running. You can see here the OLAMA container is running. So this is based on the OLAMA image. You can see here Sloopstash OLAMA v0.96. And that is the image that we have ran scan in the Docker tab. This is the image that has been pulled here. But this has already been pulled because we can't allow all these things in the short session time. So that is being pulled here, and that is what is now running here. Okay, so this is how you bring a language model, generative AI, and now we are going to see a Python-based RAG application getting deployed inside this, and that is a Python application. Okay, so that also is available here. I'm going to run these two commands. So I just start this one. Okay, so we tested all these things. So this time when you just run these commands, it will be very quickly running. But when you are doing this freshly for the first time, the image download time, you can see the time to download the image from Docker Hub to the local Kubernetes worker node, it takes some amount of time. Okay, now you can find this entire fleet of full stack application is running. You can see here, you have a couple of app servers. You have Chroma, that is the vector database server, which is used an important component for RAG applications in generative AI. And this is a generative AI language model runner, which is already been running inside. And these are all the containers which you can see that is getting running. Okay, so this is how you can deploy a generative AI RAG application. Now I'm going to access the application. To access the application, we have the URL given here in the website itself. Documentation itself, you have the URL. When you click that, you will be able to see a neatly built application stack opening. That's the UI front-end user interface. And you can see this is an application stack. We have added some text documents inside this. And you can go here and ask this RAG application to tell about Sloopstash and Inceptez partnership, because I've given some data about it. And if I just try to execute it, let's see if that is able to answer it. Okay, so there is more load in the system. It won't be able to answer. So RAG is basically a concept. I will just show one small picture. If you guys are interested, I will just show a small picture of how a RAG application works in generative AI. So which is a part of my previous workshop. I just open a small picture. Let me open this picture. Okay. So you can see here, generative AI-based RAG applications. Normally, when you look into a language model, the language model does not contain anything about Sloopstash or Inceptez. Okay, it contains it's a machine learning model that has been trained with the general data that is available in the internet or various sources. Okay, so it doesn't know anything about John or doesn't know anything about Inceptez or whatever, how we are related. So we need to provide that context to the particular. I mean, I'm not detailedly explaining. I'm saying just we need to give the data, particularly the context for the generative AI language model about us. what we are doing. So if we give enough data, it will try to convert that into a vector embedding and stores. And whenever you try to ask a question about it, well, what is the Sloopsters Inceptez partnership? It will try to combine the vector data along with the language model, and it will try to reply with an answer. Okay, it is what we call as a generation and retrieval concept in the GenAI RAG world. Okay, so we can do it in a very large scale, but what we are doing it is basically a small scale RAG application. So if you look into this output, I believe you guys got some output, right? I just ran something. So the output is Sloopsters collaborated with Inceptez in enabling training programs and placement. So this is an application's output that is coming, okay, from a Python RAG application, okay. So this is all running inside the Kubernetes cluster, okay, as containers. You can see here, whatever we are seeing here, it's all running these Python apps, the Chroma vector database, and Nginx web server, the language model runner, Olama, Redis. This is a full stack implementation that is running inside the Kubernetes, okay, which is a typical DevOps plus AI workload implementation related thing, okay. How many of you understood up to this? How many of you understood up to this? So I'm just doing Kubernetes execution, okay. Now listen carefully. So you guys can see a lot of machines running here. You can see here around the places and all here and all, right? You see a lot of things that is happening. So what we are trying to do here is that these are all the bare metal servers. If you see here, it's a bare metal means it runs a bare metal hypervisor, so it does not run any operating systems. Okay. So in these machines, the first machine, it's those machines we run these generative AI language models. So you can see here why we are building these kinds of typical on-premise data center kind of setup is we try to run our AI experiments, our how we train the models, and we build our own. Because if you see in the cloud, I showed sometime back in the Kubernetes, okay? The same Kubernetes, the same Docker, the same image, what I showed, the introspected CVE image, they run inside these racks, okay? So these racks are designed with a quality data center grade hardware. Some of the machines are tiny nodes, but most of the nodes, like you can see that server and all, it contains nearly 100 and this total capacity is nearly more than 128 CPU cores and GPUs for AI processing, and it's all bare metals where we deploy. There is no operating system, so directly we deploy virtual machines, the Amazon Linux, Alma Linux virtual machines, and we deploy Kubernetes Docker containers throughout this. And inside that, we power the artificial intelligence workloads, not just artificial intelligence, but data engineering workloads for our experimentation, the Spark cluster, the Kafka cluster, Hadoop cluster, map prediction, and we also run full stack engineering workload. So this is all a part of the Sloopsters Sloop engine research and development, which is a part of Sloopsters indigenous private cloud modeling. Okay, so you may have heard about AWS cloud, Azure cloud. You may have heard about Google GCP. It's all public clouds. Okay, so what we are trying to do at Sloopsters Inceptez is we are trying to, our product Sloop engine, we are trying to build an indigenous private cloud. And whatever you have seen here in my local machine, the 3-node Kubernetes cluster where we run a small language model, that generally runs inside these bare metal hardwares. Okay, it's a part of our research plus our product initiative. So this is getting transformed as a Sloop engine product, which is an indigenous private cloud. Okay, it's a concept. Okay, so building something equivalent to the Amazon EC2 and something equivalent to Azure virtual machine, Azure networking. So like that. So network storage compute we are trying. And we use XCP engine hypervisor, which is a Citrix Zen based. And this is the place where our Kubernetes AI workloads specifically built for running huge language models. What I've just executed here in this Kubernetes in my laptop is Olama's model is Llama 3.2, which is a 7 billion parameter. That's all we can execute in a laptop. Apart from that, we can't do. But what are language models which we are trying to execute here? They're all much bigger than what I have executed here. Okay, so this is all the interesting things that we are doing. And here is the place where there is a genuine need for cybersecurity. Okay, it's not just toolings like Ansible, Docker, and these kinds of things are injected, Kubernetes are injected here. This needs a lot of security because security vulnerabilities I showed in the Docker image is also available in these racks. Okay, so integrating cybersecurity is not just in container image alone, but when you run Kubernetes here, the container image is running here, and here also you have a vulnerability. So cybersecurity research and cybersecurity related things we do in on-premise like this. We also do it in the cloud like AWS, Azure, and we also run it in the laptop hardware like this. Okay, so these are the things that I just want to show. Okay, so you guys now able to get a picture on why I have this kind of a background, what I wanted to share in this workshop. Is this interesting for you guys? You guys able to imagine, because I can't open all the Kubernetes things and all because I need to up everything totally. So certain things are down. So you're able to understand, right? So same stack which you have seen here, the same set of workloads, the same, but bigger language models, bigger generative AI, bigger data processing. So that for that purpose, this is how it actually works. Okay, this is what we call as on-premise hardware data center. This is a part of our indigenous private cloud experimentation, which is an initiative of a Sloop engine product from Sloopstas. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Okay, so up to this, you guys understood how to run a GenAI-based application, RAG application in Kubernetes, how this runs in the laptop, how this runs in this data center. It's the same way that it runs in AWS and Azure cloud. Okay, is that understood? Fine. Now let me come back to the security point of view. Let me come to the security point of view. So what is the security thing that we are going to see here? How an attacker, I mean, I'm not going to do some ethical hacking or script injection, more penetration and all. I'm not going to do. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going to simulate a small scale flood attack on my Kubernetes network endpoint. Okay, which is running in my laptop, not in here. So let me just open that. Okay, let me just open that. So you guys see here, this is the Kubernetes. This is the Kubernetes Nginx web server that is running inside. Okay, Nginx web server. What I'm going to do is this application which you are dealing here, right? So you can see here some. I don't need to fill the form. Just click here. So when I click here, the application is properly loading. There is no lag. There is no glitch inside this application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate something called as a flood. Okay, it's called a flood. It's called a HTTP flood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate an HTTP flood, which is going to hit the Kubernetes microservice network endpoint. What is the microservice network endpoint? You see here, Kubernetes exposes every single service as a Kubernetes microservice. It's an object in Kubernetes. And you can see here, one service is exposed in the port 30,001. That is the Nginx service through which we are accessing this application, UI, of the full stack, the generative AI RAG application. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to target this Kubernetes network endpoint, okay, which affects this Nginx web server and cracks the app down, and you will be able to see timeouts happening here. Okay, it's a small scale flood attack. Okay, I'm just going to hit, it's a kind of a DDoS, okay, distributed denial of service. This is how your DevOps infrastructure, IT infrastructure can be targeted. Why I am talking again about this? Because our context is DevOps Cybersecurity, which is equal to DevSecOps plus artificial intelligence context. Okay, now I'm going to the DevOps IT infrastructure is running now. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to target this DevOps IT infrastructure and bring down the Kubernetes network endpoint or crack it with some flood, small scale flood, and so that the app will be not accessible for the legitimate customers. It's running locally, but if it is exposed to the internet also, it's the same concept. You have to think about it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool called Apache Benchmarking. It's called AB. Okay. There are lots of tools that is available in the internet, in the open source to simulate this kind of layer 7 based attacks. Okay. So many tools are there. This is also one of the tools, which is an old tool. So I'm going to simulate some kind of 25,000 requests. It's a command line tool. I'm going to simulate 25,000 requests against this Kubernetes network endpoint. This is a Kubernetes network endpoint, which is what you are accessing it from the browser. You can see here. Okay, so when I simulate this request, you can see at some point in time, if I keep it like maybe 10 concurrency and 25,000 requests, and you can see that app getting cracked, I won't be able to access the app, or some slowdowns will happen. Okay, this can even put my laptop into hanging mode, but nevertheless, we just try this one. Okay, so this is a simplistic, most simplistic, a small scale layer 7 HTTP flood attack. Suppose if I am a hacker and I wanted to try this throughout, I may be booting more machines like this. You can see here, these are all bigger capacity machines. If I'm going to hit a real-time network-based endpoint, Kubernetes or whatever load balancer endpoint we have, cloud endpoints, whatever it is, and I'm going to target that, means what will happen is I will be booting so many machines like this and target it. When I target it, I will be cracking the entire business down. Okay, which is a type of a distributed denial of service, DDoS attack. Okay, so to bring the competitor's site down, that's a illegal thing. But what I'm trying to show is this is all the part of cyber attack, or maybe this is part of a cyber crime. So that is why we need cyber security. Okay, DevOps IT infrastructure plus cyber security is what we are focusing, and I'm going to just generate a small cyber threat against my Kubernetes network endpoints. Okay, so you are going to see it, and let's see what is happening. So I'm just executing that. Okay, I'm just executing it. So this is going to generate some 25,000 requests against this. So when I run this, I'm refreshing it here. So at some point in time, you will find my app should crack. Okay, I'm just hitting it. It's not cracking so far. Loading. You can see here. You can see I was hitting the application frequently. I'm a legitimate. Imagine I am a legitimate user. I'm hitting the application. So far, the output was coming. But now, when I just try to keep on hit the application as a legitimate user, I couldn't able to load the application data. The data didn't come. It said not available. Why? Because we are targeting it with the flood. So some 2,000 plus request has been there. Because of the load that is being available in the machine, you can see that the app is now not delivering the content. You guys see? And we can simulate more like this. Once again, I will try this again. Okay, so with another streak. Okay, so let me try some 10,000. Okay, let me some 10,000 and let it run. Okay, again I will show that. So this is a very small scale, very simplistic flood. Okay, HTTP layer 7 flood. Again I am hitting refresh. Again I am hitting refresh. Now you can see the application is loading, and now you can see that bad gateway came. The application has been load balancer network endpoint has been cracked. You can see here small cracking. Okay, it's not very huge cracking. Small cracking. You can see that the response is coming from Nginx, and Nginx couldn't able to handle that. because there is a flood coming inside the load by Kubernetes network endpoint. Totally, we were able to hit 1689 requests, but out of that, due to the load in the system, because this is a host machine where I run multi-node Kubernetes cluster, the node came down, the service came down. So this is a kind of a DDoS simulation, kind of a small scale, very, very small scale DDoS simulation. Now you have to imagine that if I am an ethical hacker, okay, I will be booting so many machines like this, and I will be targeting a real-time network load balancer endpoint backed by Kubernetes or any cloud network load balancer. And when I hit it like from 100 machines, say I generate 10,000 requests per machine, you have to imagine that how easily we can bring a specific application in the internet down. You understood, right? So this is the cyber threat which we are dealing, and that is why we need a cyber security for our DevOps IT infrastructure, and that is where we come to the point called DevSecOps engineering. Okay, so how many of you understood this simulation? Is this understandable? Okay, so this is how in the real time it happens. I just showed it in a small scale in my host machine with some Kubernetes nodes and all that. But in the real time world scenario, these things happens like that. Okay, so I believe I just don't want to go more apart from this. So time is 6:30. So I have just executed short few things. So I just summarize. And then what I will do is I will hand over the podcast session. You guys can ask questions. Okay, so you raise the hand, ask questions. I will be able to answer. So I just in order to if you feel these topics are a bit vague or something like that, in the Inceptez team we have developed a small. It's a kind of an gamification. Okay, so when you learn things through gamification, it will be very, very easy for you to learn. Okay, for example, let me give one small link in the chat. Okay, I just show. I mean, you can't understand the full concept in a single run, but what you can understand is you can understand how this thing can be conceptually. I mean, you can just do some marking. This is a marking. So what we need to have, we need to have a Docker file, and then it builds the image layers, and then you need to run the build, and then multi-platform build, and then CVE scanner, and then registry pushing. Okay, so you see here when you learn complicated topics. When you learn complicated topics, we make. I mean, whenever we do any courses and batches and all, we generally, our team helps us to build these kinds of toolings. Okay, small tooling. It's not perfect, but what I'm saying is these toolings helps our candidates to learn the concepts, complicated concepts, bit easily. Okay, this is just like a gamification where you can go and explore on your own and learn something. I'm not saying 100%, but you get the concept out of it. Okay, these kinds of tools helps you to whatever I showed in the hands-on and all that and all will give some understanding. Okay, conceptually by technically and all that. But if you want to learn it in a playful way, these kinds of small tools are there. Okay, you can search that in the Inceptez lab site, and you can also see that. You can even see we have some Kubernetes RAG-based implementation that also we have tried to do some gamification. It's just it's a mock. It does not work. Okay, but it just helps you to know what is first, what is second, what is third, like that. Okay, and that is what we have now available in this place. Okay, you guys can help yourself with all these things and just play with all that, and you will be able to understand a lot of things about these kinds of things. Okay, so I just gave these links. You just use these things. I mean, when you have time, you can try all these things. Okay, so this is how learning is made fun. And now I think I'm going to stop. So my session is over, and I request people who have questions, you can raise your hand, and I'm going to give this time to question and answers. Okay, so
hi,
go.
John. So maybe I will go with a few questions as a kind of a podcast, right? To on behalf of our team. Okay. So first of all, a great session. It's very much informative and in a very short span of time, it is very much relevant to the current IT industry need, right? Where there is a concern with respect to our primary concern the organization has related to the security, the cost governance, and the resource utilization, which is being considered as a paramount in every organizations, right? Like whether to go with the on-prem or with the cloud, right? All these kind of the key questions what organization has, especially in this world of data, right? Especially when we are considering about the like a cloud or AI engineering, or in fact even in a data engineering world also. So thanks so much for bringing a lot of insights in a very short span of time, right? I know like at the very high level or at the level of understanding about the Docker or Kubernetes or including the vulnerability attacks and all, people might have got some idea about like how the things are working, right? Very, very quickly you're getting the infrastructure spanned and which got, like even production is also in a very short span of time. It's a great thing to see. So on behalf of everyone, right, some of the top quick questions that I have in my mind. So I just wanted to get the clarity from you, right? Since you are into the both the era of the IT and in the DevSecOps, right? So let me go with the first question. So we're all aware, like we are in the IT era, right? The especially in the AI side, the growth is very huge, right? And how you are envisioning, or can you give some side or light about like how the AI and DevSecOps are complementing and supplementing each other, and how they are growing in a real time currently, right? In the current IT market.
Now, as we have seen in this execution itself, originally we had this DevOps related things, the containerization and all these kinds of things. And slowly when AI came into the picture, we brought AI-based workloads, particularly language model execution, RAG implementations, AI agent kind of things. And we built it into the IT infrastructure like containers, virtual machines, and all that. Okay, so that's the DevOps way of doing. And then what we are trying to move on from here is when we bring these AI-related elements and the data engineering elements, or the critical data-oriented things, which can even have some sensitive informations and vulnerabilities and all. So we try to now merge this AI element with already we had the AI and the DevOps related thing that has been going on in the last couple of years or maybe a year. And now we are trying to bring that into the cybersecurity space and see how we can integrate the security related implementations. For example, now we have seen the CVEs implementation. So CVE, how CVE impacts a container image, how the language models, libraries are generally exposed. If it is exposed, what kind of potential leaks can happen. That's a very vast thing. We have just identified it. So we can see it like a triangular fashion where we have AI, which is a very commonistic thing across every engineering field, whether it is data engineering, DevOps, or even infrastructure engineering. In many places, product development, full stack, every place AI is playing a very great role. And now we are trying to bring the AI context into DevOps, which we did in the last year itself. And now we are bringing the security context. So basically, it's like a triangle we are building. So we have AI, we have the DevOps, and we have the cybersecurity, which encloses DevSecOps plus AI relativity.
Yeah, thank you, John. So I have one more follow-up question on that, right? So how you are going to transform our aspirants, right, who are all joining for whatever the course, or they're coming for some internship, and even for getting some idea about like how this implementation can be made, right? How you are getting them job ready or production ready, right? So because that is a big gap what people are finding now, right? Mixing the learning and the real implementation, right? Or understanding the real-time tools or projects or the real infrastructure hands-on is a very big challenge in the market currently. So how you are bringing the synergy of all the three to our aspirants, to our students?
What we are trying to do is we so far have done lots of multi-cloud engineering related aspirants, which is also core IT infrastructure, DevOps, multi-cloud, and all that. So for all the aspirants in the earlier time, we couldn't able to expose them to reality. So for example, when we are teaching Amazon EC2 cloud, for example, or Azure virtual machine or Amazon VPC kind of topics, in the particular Kubernetes network endpoints, how that can run inside AWS and all. The problem with that is when in the cloud, public cloud, you can't touch and feel things. Okay, so when people come, I mean, the former batches, what we have done prior to 2025, people can't. I mean, when I say Amazon EC2 instance is a virtual machine, or Azure Kubernetes node is a virtual machine that is running Kubernetes agent, they can't go open and see that. They have to believe that that is running somewhere in the world, in somewhere, and we are just accessing it. So that is one major roadblock in learning things. Okay, but what we have tried to consolidate is we try to these days we have our own data center related setups, and we run all these things. They can come, touch, and feel typical data center grade components, and they can open and see the dashboards. They can come visually. We take them as a tour and explain how all these components are built properly, how we build the storage, how we build the networking, how we build container platforms, VM platforms that run here. And that understanding helps them to, imagining the public cloud, they will be able to correlate it with here. So this is how their understanding becomes very much crisp and clear. So they know that that same Docker container which they are building is running in their own laptop, and the same container running in this on-premise hardware, the same container is running in the AWS cloud or Azure cloud. So you can see different infrastructures, in fact, hybrid infrastructure, where all these toolings are coming into the same tooling, same concept, same container, same images. But the only thing is the infrastructure changes. So hybrid infrastructure is opening up them, and that is how people really get into the fact. And I believe that is the best way to bring them job ready. And that's why we have this workforce development program, which is a part of our training initiative.
Yeah. Thank you, John. I have one more final question, right? This is a kind of an open question everybody of us have. We are in a fear of AI, right? So how AI is going to, like dominate the human being or our jobs, and we are always finding a kind of a fear on the AI, right? The growth of AI. How you are envisioning the job market for the DevSecOps, right? How you can say like the AI is going to affect, or it may not have a huge impact, or it is going to work together to get ground, right? How you are envisioning this?
Now, in the year 2024, June particularly, I was discussing with my DevOps aspirants in the batch time that there was a major layoff that went in Cisco, Intel, and we have seen another company, which is a very massive layoff. It happened in 2024, July or August time. It was a very massive layoff in Intel, in fact. So when that layoff came, all the CEOs who are a part of that bigger hardware engineering infrastructure companies, they told that they are going to focus on three important things. The keywords are very important. One is the automation. Second is cybersecurity, and third is AI. So automation, AI, and cybersecurity. So these three are the things that their primary focuses is on. Okay, in 2024, that they gave that explanation. Okay, so what we have formulated, told people in 2024 is that in 2026 we will bring a combination of automation, a cybersecurity, and then AI. Okay, so that is what we are gearing up. It was something which was struck in 2024, and I was preparing for that. And now is the time that we have come across this course, which we have been starting tomorrow, actually. And you can see that I think we have already populated the announcements. So the three things which we are trying to execute, which is the combination of automation, which is the combination of cybersecurity, which is a combination of artificial intelligence. That is what our DevSecOps engineering is going to do. Okay, so basically, which is going to cover the on-premise data centers as well as multi-cloud, plus cybersecurity and how AI is getting impacted. So that is what is the triangle which we are trying to solve in this DevSecOps engineering course. And this is how we can make our aspirants more ready, future job market ready in the next upcoming couple of or 2 or 3 years when DevSecOps becomes a peak. They will be able to be in a better position, like our former DevOps aspirants who was there in 2021, 2022. They got their peak in 2024 or 2025 or 2023. So that's the same strategy we are trying to follow here. So that's why we are kickstarting our DevSecOps by tomorrow, from Sunday onwards, from tomorrow onwards.
Great, John. Thanks for the great explanation.
Guys, those okay, Gokula Kannan, I'm unmuting you. You can ask the question, Gokula Kannan. You raised your hand. Whoever has questions, please raise the hand and ask question one by one. Okay. Gokula Kannan, I have unmuted you, allowed your mic. Okay, let me refresh and come back. Once again, I think. Shweta, can you unmute Gokula Kannan? Shweta?
Yes, John.
Can you unmute Gokula Kannan?
Okay.
Because I need to reload. Gokula Kannan, you are unmuted. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can unmute and ask Gokula Kannan.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Thanks for the wonderful session. Actually, it was you have thrown a very good light for everyone. And actually, my question is, you said it's full of SCP-ng hypervisor, right? Yeah, and my first question is, without operating system, everything will be in bare metal, that is hypervisor. High level concept on without operating system and hypervisor, one. And another question is top vulnerability softwares, okay, that in the market now.
Okay. So I want to know the top vulnerability softwares.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So at that part we can't say, because even I can't also say, because every single software, as I told, the popular software, the Kubernetes API server, just now we executed that, and I showed some vulnerability in the beginning itself, CVE.org. So every single software package library that we generally use may contain something. Okay, so we can't say top like that. We can't give names. But generally, whatever toolings that you use in the organization, in the entire IT supply chain, whether from automation point of view or running workloads, full stack workloads, data engineering, every angle, we have to check what each and every tools are doing, how we can find those vulnerabilities in the CVE.org. And some vulnerabilities are not yet found. Okay, so that also will be hidden. That will be revealed in maybe down the lane. We may find some vulnerability. So it's very good, important. So it's not like finding the vulnerabilities. We have to slightly go and upgrade our infrastructure as soon as possible, because every 3 months or every 6 months, we have to do general auditing, and we have to upgrade the packages, continuously test, continuously integrate, continuously deliver the application software stack. So that is the best practice. So that is the answer for the question number 2. And the first question is bare metal hypervisor in the sense, you see here, there are hypervisors like VMware's ESXi, and we are using the Zen, which is a Citrix Zen, which is originally the hypervisor that powered Amazon EC2. And this is a Citrix Zen project. Okay, so when I say hypervisor software stack, it is something which it is not like a general operating system. Okay, what comes inside this XCP-ng hypervisor software stack is it contains a KVM. It contains a KVM module, and it contains the virtualization kit, and then it contains the Linux kernel. So these three are the major ingredients, and it tries to build the kernel VMs inside this server. Okay, so we can't treat it like it contains lots of tools, but we cannot treat it like a normalistic operating system. So it will be directly flashed into the metal, and we have to integrate it with the console. We have a control panel for that called Zen Orchestra, which is a control panel. And through the Zen Orchestra, we connect to this through the network, and we say create VM, like how you do in the Amazon EC2. It's the same way we try to launch virtual machines.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. On top of KVM, virtual kick, then Linux kernel, then Zen orchestration.
KVM, Linux kernel, and virtualization toolkit.
Okay.
So it's when I say hypervisor, it's a combination of all these things.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, John.
Okay. Danish Faridhi, you can, Shweta, can you unlock Danish Faridhi's mic?
Okay, John. Okay.
Hi, John. Am I audible?
Yeah, I'm able to hear.
So regarding this DevSecOps course, I have a couple of questions. So first is first question is like, so it's do you cover SIEM integration in this with the DevSecOps in this course, or
Yeah.
like components mapping and threat modeling?
No, what we are trying to do is we have SIEM monitoring. You'll be able to see my screen, I think. So we have SIEM monitoring, intrusion detection, and anomaly detection in the phase number 13. So our entire training course is basically composed of 14 phases totally. Okay, each and every phases are not completely security oriented. Some phases are DevOps, typical DevOps related things. Some phases are security related things. Okay. So in the phase number 13, we will be seeing the security information and event monitoring management thing using Grafana, ELK, and Prometheus with telemetry data. So that is the phase number 13. We are going to see it in the phase number 13. Okay.
I have another question.
Shweta, can you put that link, Shweta, in the group chat? I think. Yeah, I myself take. Wait,
Yes, John.
posting it because I.
So the threat modeling is also like covered in this one.
What you are asking? Can you repeat it?
Threat modeling.
We simulate DDoS related things. Okay, you can see what we try to do is we help people to wait. I think one place we have mentioned that. Okay. So yeah, here. So we help people to generate threats. Okay, real-time cyber threats, and we will be talking about how we can inject script, how we can inject some kind of SQL queries or program scripts, some small data inside the endpoints to hack and come into a machine like an alien. So in the project number 7, in the phase 12, we try to simulate and mitigate different types of denial attacks, okay, against web servers like Nginx, Amazon EC2 load balancer, and Azure load balancer. And one particular small scale attack is what we have seen here in the session now. Okay, that is against Nginx Kubernetes network. Okay, so we have a few threats that we will simulate, and we will also see how we can mitigate in the layer 7 and layer 5 as well.
Okay. So at the by the end of the course, so what kind of project we'll be able to implement end to end?
We will be doing automation oriented project. Okay, so projects will be like there will be different levels of projects. We can't say it is only one. So basically the phase 2, which is composed of VM platform hardening using Packer, and there will be VM lifecycle automation project, and there will be cloud security IAC Terraform automation project, and then there will be VM platform security in cloud. So projects will be like automation codes. For example, I will just show some of the projects that our multi-cloud engineering people have done. So how it finally comes is like, it will come like infrastructure as code finally. So that is how the automation comes into picture. So I will just show a few of the things that our multi-cloud people have done. So I just show this thing. So this is a Terraform's code. Okay, so I have also committed the code in GitHub. So people also commit the code in GitHub, and the code will be available in the GitHub. Every person who is doing the hands-on in the class, they will be creating a portfolio in GitHub like this. So like how I am creating, okay? And the code will be made visible to the internet in a public, as a public repository. So people can access it, and you can put it in your Naukri profile, LinkedIn profile. So this is how the projects are implemented in real time, and the code goes to GitHub directly like this. This is how our multi-cloud DevOps aspirants generally do. Okay, whatever we build in the class time, we publish that as a project in GitHub like this. So we call as GitHub portfolio, which is useful for interview and interview process, applying to companies. So it will be a very valid portfolio for you. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Shweta, can you unmute Santosh?
Yes, John, unmuted.
Santosh, you can ask your questions. Santosh, you can ask your question. You are unmuted. Santosh.
Hello.
Yeah, Santosh, able to hear. Hello, Santosh, I'm able to hear you. Please proceed with your question. Okay, unlock Venki.
Okay, John. Okay.
Venki, you can unmute and ask question. Venki. Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Please unmute and speak, Venki. I don't know.
John, Santosh, am I audible?
Yeah, now we're able to hear. Please ask. Able to hear, Santosh.
John, can you hear me? I was asking.
Able to hear.
So, what kind of personal projects would you recommend for aspirants aiming at the DevSecOps in roles in AI?
Basically, AI is a kind of a context. We don't need to say AI based. We have to say AI is basically a workload. So what we have to understand, I think we have a picture. Let me just show that. Generally, we show it to our aspirants. So I just check into this picture. Normally, how we should see as a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer or an infrastructure-oriented engineering role, how we have to see through is we have to sorry. I'm sorry. So basically, the skills that we need is containerization, orchestration, container version control, CI/CD, observability. So these are all the typical DevOps engineering skills. Okay, generally. Now we have to see our AI-based things as a workload. Okay, particularly when it comes to 1 second, I will take another picture. This picture is not. Wait. We do have another picture. Check that. Okay. Now I think this is the best picture. So you see here, we have to see through our software product or software stack. Like AI is one of the component available in the software stack. Okay, we have to see through our viewpoint whether you are going for a DevOps platform engineering or DevSecOps engineering or multi-cloud engineering, whatever kind of infrastructure-based roles if you want to go, the primary viewpoint of us should be always like you need to see through things like a software stack. I mean a software tech stack. Okay. In the software tech stack, there will be lots of workloads. Okay, workloads like databases will be there. Data engineering, big data workloads will be there. Data science related machine learning workloads will be there. Specifically, generative AI-based workloads will be there. So AI in the context of infrastructure engineering, DevOps, DevSecOps, platform, it has to be a workload. That is the context in which we have to see through AI. Okay, it's not like a AI-based or something like that. Of course, there is a concept called agentic AI, which will help you to run through certain automations on behalf like a human-like experience it can provide. But that is different. What we are talking about in the infrastructure part is AI language models are a workload for us in a software stack. That's how we have to view as a DevSecOps or DevOps or platform or cloud engineer. Okay, so this should be the viewpoint.
Sure, John. Thank you. My second question is, how can students use this as a foundation so we can contribute to open source AI tools, and in future we can build a GitHub profile that may attract recruiters. What's your point? What's your take, John?
So what we generally do naturally, okay, Sloopstas is basically a heavily open source committed company. So if you see here, our open source projects are generally available in GitHub. We do develop lots of toolings. If you see here, this is our Sloopstas GitHub organization account profile. And you can see here, we develop lots of infrastructure-based toolkits like the Packer, Docker, Chef, Ansible kind of things. And we develop lots of software stacks and full stacks, many AI-based stacks, data engineering-based stacks, observability-based stacks like this. And so what we tell people is, if you want to become attractive, if you want to have an attractive profile at the end of the day, at some way or the other way, we have to go and contribute in the open source. Okay, so we tell people, if you see here in this initiative, there are lots of people here. Not all the people belong to the Sloopstas full-time employment. Okay, so most people is so almost 3, 4, or 5 people only is belonging to the Sloopstas, but the other peoples are the peoples whom we train. They are aspirants, for example. Okay, they come to learn some technology here like DevOps, multi-cloud or something. So they participate in our open source initiative and they contribute to our own software stacks. For example, let me say this AI RAG application. When I am doing the code commits, but there was another guy who helped me in doing this. His name is Eliezer. Okay, so he built the first level of this RAG application that we have just now demonstrated in this UI, right? So this one, that was first base code is written by him. So you see people who come, if they are willing and wanted to connect with us, if they want to put it in their own portfolio also, they can go and put it. Okay, so that also I showed some time back with this portfolio. So you develop, if you want to develop something related to AI-based things and or any other based things, you just develop and put it in the GitHub, your personal account, and make it personal. And this is in my personal account, my personal, and you can use it for your interviews and profile building sake. Okay, so we allow people to be a part of our Sloops test team. For example, that is what we generally call as this workforce development program. What we do in the training is generally a natural workforce development program initiative. What WDP means, they work with us, they come here. If you see here, these machine alignments, and if you see here the hypervisor deployments and all was taken care by a person called Ganesh. Okay, he is our 2025 February batch candidate. Okay, so this is how we bring people inside. So those people really know what is this hypervisor, what is this, that, how AI workload runs inside this. So that and all they very clearly know. So that is how they add weight to their profile and become an attractive one. So these are all the organic way of doing.
Yeah, thank you, John. It was a very good detailed explanation. Thank you for that one. And the third question is, what kind of advice would you give future aspiration on staying motivated? So in my organization, we are hearing about a lot of scaling which needs to be done for the data. So there are a lot of challenges usually in the scaling side. So what kind of advice would you like to give for aspirants like me to scaling systems in team environments? So scaling, for example, we can take a rack system if we want to scale. How can so you can give some advice like
scaling? You can see it in three angles. One is your infrastructure angle, which is where we have the VMs, containers, hardware, real hardware, networking, storage, compute. That one, operating system tuning. That is infrastructure. And the other thing is tuning your applications. When we say generative AI applications, you say RAG applications, right? So basically, it's a piece of a code that you guys developers have done. So we have to tune our Python app, our Node.js application, our vector databases, our language models has to be fine-tuned. So we need to throw adequate GPUs, hardware behind that. So this is a second level, okay? And there is a third level that is purely data-oriented side. Okay, how we are modeling the data, we are storing inside, whether we are storing it in a proper way or whether it is, whether we are unnecessarily having a schema-less architecture in a place where we need to go for a very schema-driven architectures. So there are lots of factors involved. So basically, you can see it in three angles. One is the data engineering angle, where we have to be very cautious in designing and modeling the schemas and all that. And then we have to talk in the full stack engineering angle, where we build applications that whether that application developers are handling the queries and things in a proper way. One is that, and the selection of the language models, and that thing also matters. And the third is the infrastructure part. We need to give adequate hardware, adequate CPUs, network bandwidth, storage, particularly in cloud. You have to give more, at least 5 times or 3 times than in the on-premise data center like this. So here, the same language model will outperform the, for example, if you take some DeepSeek 240 billion or some parameters, the same model that is running here in this machine outperforms Amazon EC2 because it is running in, in the cloud. Okay, that's a different story. Okay, running in your own metal, that's a real performance difference there. And if you go for Amazon EKS cluster, and there if you run that kind of a model in a container, then there will be another level of performance degradation that will be. So you see, different infrastructures offer different performances, operating system tuning, network stack tuning. So everything is a part. So infrastructure, data, and application, all these layers has to be tuned so that it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah. Understood your point. And the final question is like I was going through the Inceptez, the link which you shared. Inceptez labs. It was really fascinating to see all kinds of developments. And when I'm clicking on download full PDF syllabus button, I think that is the only thing which it was not working for me. So maybe it may be under work. So maybe work in progress.
Yeah, we are developing the site actually.
Okay.
So we are just doing some templating and all that. That is under development. So even Snoop test site is also some 60-70% only done. We are developing the sites.
Okay, John. Okay, thank you very much.
Santosh, able to unmute and speak now? Guys, whoever has questions, you guys can boldly raise hand and ask the question. So time is 7:10 only. Shweta, can you unmute Prasanna?
Okay, John.
Hello, John. Hi, this is Prasanna. So, good evening. So, I have a quick question. Like, I'm a full stack engineer. Okay, so I build application using Quarkus and Angular and React. So, I often see some certain components being flagged as vulnerabilities from SonarQube and Sonar type reports with respect to certain specific versions. Say, for example, in such cases when there is no recommended remediation for or any upgraded version available for a flag component, so is it acceptable to continue running the application temporarily, or will there be any potential security risk of doing so? And so, like, how do DevSecOps team typically access and mitigate these kind of governance scenarios?
Now, sometime back, sometime I got the point. Sometime back, I showed that we have almost how much 338 vulnerabilities in this generative AI language model runner image. Okay, so not in this world, no company in this world, I have to say, including Google or Amazon or Facebook or Meta or whatever it is, no company in this world can say that we have zero vulnerable infrastructure, we have zero vulnerable software workloads running. So no one can say that. First, we have to keep that in mind, because we can, most of the security, because many people code, many people build things, so many human interactions happens. Okay, so there is no point in way that in DevOps engineering there is a golden saying called "there is no zero downtime." Okay, when Google goes down, Amazon AWS has gone down 14-hour outage couple of months back. So no one can claim that our infrastructure is our service is zero downtime. Okay, so similarly in security also, no one can say we have zero CVEs. Okay, so there will be CVEs. So what is the best thing that we can do? We can't keep on updating. That is even for a bigger company, say for very big product companies, innovative companies, they can't keep on updating the versions and versions, because at some point in time, some versions will break. You can't you said React.js, right? Angular.js. You can't just like that upgrade from one Angular.js to another, and some functionalities may break. So no one in the world can afford to do. So the best thing to do in that scenario is you have to secure the penetration layer. Okay, what is the penetration layer for an attacker or any cyber attack or whatever it is? What is the penetration layer? The penetration layer is not actually the software that you are exposing. The penetration layer is basically the network endpoint or the entry point, what we call as the entry point to your production infrastructure. Okay, so you see here, this is the classical picture of, secure architecture of Amazon VPC. When you are designing it in Amazon VPC, for our multi-cloud aspirants, we generally tell these kinds of things. So that's a part of our aspirants learning. So the traffic generally enters into your infrastructure through a layer 7 load balancer most of the time, 90% of the time. Okay. In that scenario, what we have to generally do is we have to protect this load balancer and trace the logs that is coming here and mitigate all the security vulnerabilities here itself. Okay. So legitimate traffic, most of the time, the legitimate traffic only has to flow through the internal app servers, whether it is containers or whatever it is. Okay, applications, databases, and whatever it is. So the mitigation or the blocking must happen here. Okay, in the layer 7 load balancer level. So this is the network design. So you have to stop. This is the penetration point for any organization, including GitHub. Okay, they also have a load balancer through which we are accessing github.com and their services, right? So that is the place where they put all the, it's a kind of a defense firewall. So we put all the equipments to protect this one in the network area. So this is the network area where we are going to protect. You can't protect a software that is running inside an Kubernetes Docker container. Okay, if you want to change that, you have to keep on updating every month or every week or every day almost. That is nowhere possible for companies. If you change like that, obviously your product stack will crack. Things will not work, features will not work. Okay, so better you don't allow any alien to come and settle down in your servers by blocking it and protecting here. This is where is the most crucial point. So securing the network boundary or the perimeter is the very wise idea than upgrading the software and keep on upgrading. That is not going to work for all the organizations.
Got you. Yeah. So as a developer, like we'll be more focusing only on what type of issue it is, a bug or a vulnerability or a code smell, or what is the severity and which falls under what security category. Even we protect the application layer using any identity provider or all those things, but protecting from the network layer, it makes sense.
Yeah, network is the only boundary. It's like you have a very big gated community you built, right? Your apartment system. So there will be a kind of a gate and there will be some security over the gate. So through which every vehicle has to be monitored and cameras will be there. So only through that, the person has to go to that huge apartment stories and all that. Okay, apart from that, you can't get in. Okay, so if you lose security on that perimeter, that is the network. Okay, and then anyone can come in. Okay, that is why every organization generally spend a lot of money. Even the architecture which I showed, it is a very cutting edge architecture in AWS and Azure that helps almost, I mean, that's a secured architecture. So specifically, when I take that session, I tell people that this is not just architectural implementation. This has a lot of cybersecurity significance. Through this only, an attacker or legitimate traffic or hacker comes into our infrastructure and sits inside the machine. Okay, so that's the point to secure.
Okay. All right. So because most of our application has the vulnerabilities, not with the direct dependency, but it's with the transitive dependency that is being used by other component layers. Anyhow, that makes sense for me.
But we can't fix all that. That is no way possible.
Yes, absolutely. I got you.
Okay, it will not happen at all.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you for creating such an engaging session that we are really eager to participate despite being a Valentine's Day. Thank you very much.
John, Santosh asked a question in the chat because he's having a mic issues.
Okay. Okay, my chat didn't get update because it's team sign in. I need to re-sign in to get that. Can someone read the question? Can someone, Shweta, can you read the question?
Yes, John, I'm looking.
Because the problem is the sign-in came. If I click the sign-in, it will reload the screen.
He asked a question. CVE vulnerability Docker up Scott, you were scanning the image. Basically, we can do the same in CI/CD Sonar Cube pipeline stage.
Yeah, we can do that, Santosh. Sonar Cube is in fact a very good tool and that's been developed in the last 7-8 years. It has really went through a lot of rapid development. We can use Sonar Cube to do code quality checking, these kind of CVE scanning. But why I went on to Docker Scout and Docker Hub is because Docker Scout is the native Docker tool. Okay, this Docker Scout is a native Docker tool. This is not a product from external thing. They know Docker very better. They know OCI. They are the creators of this OCI container image format spec. Okay, so that is why they know how to very beautifully scan, penetrate inside the image and find vulnerabilities and all. So that is why I just tried it with the Docker Hub. Sonar Cube, we are having planned to bring that in our training program in the upcoming batches, not this batch.
Another question is CyberAttack and HashiCorp is basically we integrate the password for security. Will any sort of the tool you will be covering?
We will be doing Ansible vaulting, Ansible Vault, Kubernetes secrets. We are going to go mostly into DevOps-oriented cybersecurity. Okay, there are lots of things in the HashiCorp. We have Vault, that is a tool. Okay, so we don't have Vault so far, but we do how we implement Vault is we will see how we can use Vault in Ansible for automation purposes. We use Jenkins secrets, we use Kubernetes secrets and Docker secrets for encrypting and decrypting certain sensitive data. So that all will come inside that. But particularly HashiCorp Vault, we don't have any content for it. We do Terraform and Vagrant and Packer. 3 tools, HashiCorp tools, we are bringing in the training program. We can't bring the 4th tool, that is Vault. We don't have plan for that. But in case if there is more demand for it, we may try Vault also. Okay. For container sensitive data, Kubernetes secrets, Docker secrets, and for automation related things, Ansible Vault, and then we use Jenkins secret sensitive data storing and all that. So that's how we do. Okay, guys. So you guys have no questions. Please leave a comment in the WhatsApp group on how the session was. I think the time is 7:22. So time scheduled for the workshop is 2.5 hours. If you want to ask more questions, you can unmute, raise hands and ask. But if you don't have questions, I think we can slowly drop the call. Do let us know your comments on how the session is, and
John,
also
John,
yeah.
John, one more question. Vector DB, you stored all the data in Vector DB, right? When you do the demo.
Yeah.
Something about Vector DB.
Vector DB is a database, which is like we see Redis is a key value database store. DynamoDB is a NoSQL. MySQL is a SQL engine. So like that, for AI-based RAG application developments, we need a vector database to store, to convert that particular data into AI understandable, language model understandable data. That is called vector data. It will be an array and numbers kind of thing. Okay, converting a proper text into array number kind of scalar vector format, and that will be stored in a vector database. So vector database means it is something which stores numerical data. Okay, it's not like a key value data. It stores numerical data, and the numerical data is somewhat represents the that is what we call as in the general RAG application related things. There is a concept called embeddings. Okay, generating embeddings. When you give some content to a language model and it tries to analyze and parse it and just convert that data into some kind of a numerical representation. Okay, it will be like an array plus numerical arrays and some points, float in values and all that. So that is purely number oriented. That is what is generally stored in the vector database. We use ChromaDB, that is a popular vector database. There are other vector databases also, even including MongoDB has announced a vector database. Elasticsearch is bringing vector database store. So that's vector database is mostly for RAG application implementation. These days it is being used. We use Chroma vector database.
Okay. Who will maintain this DevSecOps engineers?
Okay, that is basically the organization standpoint of view. Organizations generally build a team. Okay, so I don't say who maintains them. It comes under the infrastructure division part. So generally we have DevOps, we have SRE platform, we have cloud, like that DevSecOps. So all these are infrastructure oriented team. So infrastructure management has to take care of that, it seems. I'm not completely into that.
Okay.
Management layer. Okay, so that is something which is outside of my scope.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys, if you don't have questions, you guys can drop the call. If you have questions, you can ask. Try to share the feedback in the WhatsApp group. Suresh Babu, what is your question? Shweta, can you unmute Suresh Babu?
Okay, Jonas.
Suresh Babu, you can unmute and ask question. Suresh Babu. Okay. Guys, if no questions means we can drop the call. Okay, guys, no question means we can drop the call. Can you, Raj, can you unmute?
Yes, John, unmute it.
Raj, you can ask the question, whatever you have. Okay, at least type the question in the chat or something. Shweta, அவன் என்ன question போட்டிருக்காங்க?
John, இன்னும் போடல ஜான், இப்பதான் போட்டுட்டு இருக்காங்க, டைப் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
Okay. Okay, so in case of no questions, you guys can drop the call. Still, there are a few people in the chat, sorry, in the session. No questions means can drop. Time is 7:31. Kindly drop if no questions. If we are currently in the data engineering field, this course is fully focusing on people career switching, or it will be integrated with data engineering. So many modules that we deploy inside the containers, you said that, Raj, I'm answering to your question. So you said that you are into the data engineering field, right? So you may have seen certain data components, right? So those components we try to first automate and run it inside the container infrastructure, like Docker, Kubernetes, and all. So that's a part of our session. Okay, so that also comes under infra automation point. And then we will see how we can implement that security practices inside that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, if you already have been into data engineering and you have seen things, the same things is what you will be able to see in this course, but not showing how we can write a ETL pipeline or like that. We are not going to go to that. We're going to see how we can implement a Spark cluster, for example, in Kubernetes containers, or Kafka cluster in Kubernetes, or those kinds of things is what we're going to see. Okay. So that is how this is. You can, as a data engineering candidate, you can go to the next level by understanding the infrastructure that is lying beneath that data engineering services. Okay. Okay, guys. In case no question means we can drop the call. Time is 7:34. Shweta, I think we can remove the people, Shweta. அவங்கள
Okay, sir.
people remove பண்ணிடலாம்.
Okay.
Remove கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா everybody can use. I can't remove because I need to sign in back.
Okay.
I'm stopping the recording also.
John, I removed.